Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6. We're hoping to get at least a 3-minute warning when they start walking, but we haven't got that yet. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Everybody good? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Good. You're right.
So still no official word on the start time. We will try to give at least a 5-minute warning on that, but we'll do our best on that. So.
Yes. Yes, I will relay when we get the actual warning.
need my mic.
Yeah, he needs his mic.
Huh? Well, I mean, I haven't touched it either. So
Is that Nick's mic or is that someone else's mic?
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Eddie, do you hear Nick? He said it's extremely low.
Yeah. Well, we are hearing that it is not going to be now. We do not have an exact start time. We are told that we will hopefully get a 5-minute warning when that happens. I'm seeing press officials are gathering on the balcony above me, but no word yet on exactly when. We hope to be able to give you a 5-minute warning when that comes. John?
I just heard them say they're holding on the name until it is announced in the presser.
Gotcha.
Regardless, a couple people are already reporting it.
We're led to believe that Kash Patel, the FBI director, will be front and center of it, but there will be other players. Clearly,
I do.
This is an arrest executed by Utah state authorities. They have been represented throughout these occasions. I think we'll see a lineup of all the agencies.
Whatever. Don't worry.
Of a successful conclusion, they will presumably all want to have their input and demonstrate their involvement.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
Oh,
great. Sounds good.
Last night was a news conference. He was present, having flown in, and of course, he's been controversial in this particular episode. Controversial to the extent that you wondered about his long-term future. 48 hours ago, in the immediate aftermath.
No, not yet.
Soon after, he tweeted, he posted on X that the suspect who had committed the killing, I'm paraphrasing, was in custody. He said that with a degree of certainty, asserting that this individual had committed murder. And of course, that does many things. I mean, the public react, drop their guard, perhaps, in an area where there is a killer on the loose. It also it does have an influence and impact on the investigation at a time when the public are being asked to be wary, but also contribute information. So that was one tweet. The public, there would be a reaction to that, people switching off, perhaps. But of course, what he did very soon after that was to say that suspect has been interrogated and has now been released. So, that was a message. That was a mixed message coming from the very top, nothing less than the director of the FBI. So the question for him is, what are you playing? And that was a question for him last night. But at a news conference, at a time when journalists want to ask questions, need to ask questions, and there are questions that would, that would benefit the investigation in terms of details that need to be relayed to the public. There was no questions. When Kash Patel turned up, it was statements only, and nobody can ask anything. So nobody could ask him. Actually, I tried on his way out. Asked him about his business of tweeting. Did you misrepresent the investigation at a critical stage? Did you endanger public safety? These are questions that won't go away easily for Kash Patel. Here's a statement, interestingly, on a White House official was asked about President Trump's view of Kash Patel and his handling of this Charlie Kirk affair. I'll read you the quote. This is from a White House official. Director Patel is working night and day on this case. Anyone who doubts his resolve and dedication, especially when Charlie was such a close friend to him, simply is using this extremely sad moment in a disgusting act of political gamesmanship. The focus is justice, and this killer will face the full wrath of the justice system. So I support a bolstering of Kash Patel of sorts, but I do wonder if we'll hear from the president and who appointed him, if we'll hear full-throated support, or indeed if his position at the top of the FBI is something of an issue. Clearly, that's not the issue of the day right now. The issue of the day is this arrest. Who is Tyler Robinson? Why did he do this? What was the motivation behind this public execution of a high-profile political figure in this country? I do get the impression, Matt, that Donald Trump has bounced everybody into this announcement, the breaking of the news. We got a late shout to get to this place. We were told it was going to be a news conference at the top of the hour, and that was 45 minutes ago, and keep being told it's been delayed. We'll give you a 5-minute warning, but that 5-minute warning seems rather more than 5 minutes away to me. So the press being corralled into Utah Valley University, where the shooting took place. No indication as to when this is going to start. They will want to be dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Kash Patel will be hosting this news conference. Certainly won't want to flirt with inaccuracy on this one. So, there are reasons, I suppose, why there is delay, why they want to cross-check what the president has told us live on national television. They have a name. There will be ongoing searches of Tyler Robinson's property. He will be questioned. His family will be questioned. There will be cross-referencing with the evidence they have, the DNA presumably on the weapon, the handprint, the forearm, the footwear impression they say they've collected from the roof and from the escape route that the shooter took. So all of that work is ongoing right now. I suppose in terms of the detail and the press conference, that's up in the air at the moment, Matt. But my guess, it's only a guess, is it shouldn't be too long away. Everything, all the furniture, journalists, international media are in place, just waiting for Kash Patel, the man.
Check 1 2, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
Yeah,
Mic 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Check 1 2 1 2 3 4.
Gun ownership is so widespread here. You see that driving around the streets, gun ranges, gun shops, and so on. There is wide access for a large number of the population. So in terms of pursuing that route as a method of matching individuals to weapons, clearly that wasn't going to be necessarily a fruitful line of investigation. I spoke to the mayor of Orem last night. He was at a vigil. Clearly, people had other things on their mind, principally grief and a sense of bereavement in response to what had happened. But I did ask him, I said, this yet again raises the business and the issue of guns.
Sorry.
What people do with guns when they possess them. And his answer
He said he couldn't confirm who was going to speaking because it changes literally up to the minute they actually start, but that they expect the same group who was here last night to be here today.
Governor was here last night. Yeah.
Yep. And there will be horrific consequences now and again, but something that we have to accept. That was Charlie Kirk's line throughout, and he's on record as having said that there will be fatalities. I'm paraphrasing. There will be fatalities, one or two, but that's a price that we have to pay for gun ownership, which is the right thing for the United States of America. That was his view. I get the sense that is a widely held view. One thing that strikes me, Matt, and we've had this shooting, we have had other shootings in the past few weeks. When they take place, there is an absence of debate, I find, across the media about access to guns. It's almost not part of the discussion any longer. It is for us. We have a fascination with this business of regular incidences of gun violence, and yet America turns its head when the notion is suggesting that there should be a restriction of access. It's almost not part of the discussion, I find, in response to events like this. It's almost as if the United States has moved on from that ever being a notion that it will embrace. Hard fact would be
tell us more information before they walk in here. That's going to be the governor or cautious.
Dude.
Hello, hello, testing, testing. Hi, everyone. We are 4 minutes out from starting the press conference. Thank you.
But this is the camera that I presume I should get out of the way, but I was told to just get in the way.
Hey, Eddie, are you planning on still taking Nick? Eddie, can you hear me? Hey, anybody in the control room?
They just asked me to get in the shot, so I'm
Okay.
here. But I don't know which camera they're taking for the actual, because they were having issues with the fill.
I would think that there's one.
Yeah.
This one, but I can hear them. I know I'm still connected. They're just not.
I'll stand here until I'm told to get out of the way.
Yes, I have watched.
Yeah, but I think I found it on other ones too. Yeah, and it's like the internet, the data, all that. It's stream free.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
That was the time I was like, it's like, oh, no, go get me. And then it's never done. No, that is okay. Okay. She's telling him now.
They want me to sit? I was just told they were going to come to me.
They will tell you when.
So I should sit? No.
Keeping it. Yep.
That's right, John. We were given a 4-minute warning 3 minutes ago, so we are expecting any second to see the officials coming in. We are told to expect a similar cast of characters that we saw last night. That would be the governor, that would be the Utah Public Safety Commissioner, that would be Kash Patel from the FBI, and the FBI's special agent in charge. John, any second we should be seeing them coming into this room for the press conference. That 4-minute warning has now expired. So any second now, John, we should be hearing more information in this case.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, who has to redial the other control room?
They were going to transfer me, but they transferred me to a non-working number. So, no.
Okay, but I'm just staying in the same IFB, right?
Hey Joshua, this is Andy with Nick. You should be on 6280.
So I should
Get
change.
right- Yeah, change IPs.
You sure?
Are you wanting on camp? Yeah, they want you standing. So you gotta redial the IFB. I can do it too. 404.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
404 878 6280. Hey, bud.
Okay. There's the press. PIOs coming in. I do. Hi. Here they come. Here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, who is that?
It's not.
Yes, Wolf. So this press conference was scheduled to start about an hour ago. It has been pushed. It has been pushed. It has been pushed. I am now seeing officials walking into the room. They will be moving to the podium any second now. I'm trying to see if I can see Kash Patel. I cannot so far. They are moving towards the podium, and we are going to get this information that now we have been waiting for about an hour for. So, yeah, officials moving towards the podium. There is Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. So I believe, Wolf, I should get out of the way and we should see what these officials have to say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At today's press conference, we will hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Sheriff Mike Smith. We also have with us Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions. And we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that have stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere. and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Governor, could you please speak to whether the suspect is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that.
Governor, how do you interpret the engravings on the case of the wedding?
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, you indicated that you may communicate. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you tell
Yes. So right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him in. Please, I go here. I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah. So how we obtained the gun was found here. Yeah, so I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County. I'm sorry? We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes. I can't answer that right now.
Can you clarify?
Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together. The Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be. I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there, but this is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor, could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits? Could
Correct.
you just clarify this?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes. Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that basically we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
So that was the press conference in Utah. You learned a lot. If you haven't been paying attention to social media, a lot of this has already been exposed on social media. Actually, it was Stephen Crowder that was the first to report the engravings on the bullets of Charlie Kirk's assassin, and to reiterate the writing on these bullets included "Hey fascists, catch an up arrow symbol, a right arrow and symbol, 3 down arrow symbols, a second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella, ciao. Oh Bella, ciao, Bella, ciao, ciao, ciao." I'm sure someone knows what that means. I don't know what that means. Then a third casing that was unfired read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." So that's, I'm right now, I'm going through and reading, trying to understand. Okay, I guess the "Oh Bella, ciao, ciao" is an Italian folk song. So I can pull this. I should probably pull some of this up as visual. What the symbolism, what that sort of symbolism means. I think the message that what we can do is hug our children, spend time with our families is a good one. I do think that there's more to blame than just to say this disturbed man, Tyler Robinson, who, and we'll just pull up some of the images. So I think what I see, what is remarkable to a lot of people is how normal, like they're thinking this kid looks normal, like in the dorm right there. And what this does is underscore the battles that we have been fighting for 5 years, which the curriculum, the indoctrination, the propaganda that is in our schools, K through 12, colleges, target in suburban schools. I posted underneath this live stream some of the quotes. You can look at that. So this kid, Tyler Robinson, He confessed to his father. His father is a 27-year veteran with the Washington County Sheriff's Department. That's just, it's really sad. I'm going to add this to stage. So this is him with his father who turned him in. I watched Fox and Friends this morning. President Trump was there, and that's where I first heard publicly that indeed the suspect was in custody, that the father had turned him in, working with apparently a minister. My voice is, I'm going to take a drink. I've not slept a whole lot, not slept very well. I texted a friend who is a producer of the Charlie Kirk show, and he did make me aware that the show is going to go live today. So I believe that they go live at noon. So I'm definitely going to be tuning into that. And I expressed my deepest condolences to him and all of my colleagues and friends in this movement. Turning Point, I have worked with them very closely here in Wisconsin, and we're working the same events, collaborating together. We worked really hard in 2024 to get Trump elected. We've worked on elections in Wisconsin, and they are dedicated, fearless, just the best. I call them kids. They're graduated from college, but most of them, but they look so young, and they loved Charlie like we all love Charlie. The thing is they often they would go to Arizona and go to training, and Charlie would be there personally. They would spend time with him. You know, as big as Charlie was, that he always made time to meet and talk with those who worked in his organization. Charlie talked with county GOP in Wisconsin. He came several times to Wisconsin for the 2024 election. Came with Don Jr. right before one of our big state Supreme Court election in March. So he was here for the RNC convention. I got to spend a little bit of time with him there, and I actually went to see his events on college campuses when my oldest was in college. Like, he'd come to Madison, he came to Milwaukee, and what was interesting is before these events, there would be a fire alarm that would go off. There would be some sort of security alert, and all in the attempts to cancel him. And one time the alarms all went off, and we're all like, oh, great, we're going to have to leave. And he said, no, stay. I'm sure this is just false flag. This happens all the time. Just stay. We're not going anywhere. He was always, I think a lot of other people would just say, let's go, let's leave. And he wouldn't. He would stay. He wanted to talk to people. He made an effort to talk to regular people outside the RNC convention in Milwaukee. He could be seen every day doing his show live right on the street. People could come up and watch. People could ask questions. He would throw hats. He just, I think he wanted to be with his people, and he never shied away from talking to anyone. And that's why this is all so sad. What happened to him, and then the way that it happened, very, very sad. I'm gonna put I've had little sleep, so I'm just going to have to wear my reading glasses a little bit more right now. Again, I'm looking through, getting the updates. And you can see, like, I'm very much in shock about this. Just not what you would imagine. And I think that that's important. I had, there's just so much to say. I was watching Benny Johnson, and he's got, just asking, hey, let's look up this kid's social media footprint, and what has been seen so far is so normal. So the question is, how was he radicalized? Like, what happened? How did this happen? So Wall Street Journal has the good. We know the suspect, we know the father we know the bullet case. And if you hadn't seen the video, JD Vance had met with the family just yesterday. And I was bawling watching what happened, watching Vice President JD Vance carrying the casket of Charlie onto the plane. It was, and you could see his wife Erica in the background, and it's all just been so very surreal. I think there were conspiracy theories, had to be professional and all that. And I talked to my brother, who is a Marine and very, knows how to use weapons, has a lot of them, has a lot of experience. My father, who's a Marine veteran, and they've confirmed. And what my brother said was chilling. If you want to kill someone, it's actually not a difficult thing to do if you are, homicidal. If you're, and that just goes to this, as humans, it's not necessarily about the gun. The gun was not semi-automatic, something like that. It's about the heart of humans and what happens when discourse gets to a place that different ideas, someone that thinks differently than you, can be othered to the point where you think that they should be killed, and that's okay. Like, you think you're a hero for doing it. You think that you're doing a good thing. How does the mind get to that point? The propaganda, the indoctrination. How does that happen? And I can tell you how that happens. I've been doing this for years. I know how it happens, the curriculum, and then the ideas and the things that are said. And when you are in this silo where you're told, cut off your parents, don't talk to them anymore. If they voted for Trump, it's okay. Create your new family, your glitter family, your found family. Cut off friends that don't think like you. It's a cult mindset. And that's what Charlie was fighting. Don't silo yourself. Open yourself up to new ideas. Think for yourself. You don't have to do exactly as you were told or think a certain way. Open yourself up to ideas, read, listen, debate, and surround yourself with people that are different. That's real diversity. That's actual diversity, not the fake diversity that they claim. It's actually not diversity at all. There's no diversity of thought. There's no diversity of religion. It's groupthink. You have to think like we do. You have to believe like we do. We can't even hear a different opinion. I have been in school board meetings. I have testified before state legislature, before our state Senate in Madison, and seeing people cover their ears or leave. They can't even hear someone else's opinion. And I know I attend seminars. I will sit in 8-hour teacher or educator professional development where I'm bombarded with their thoughts, their ideas, their books. I will watch their YouTube videos. I will attend their conferences. I will talk with them. And so it may bother me. I may not like the things that are said. It may irritate me, but I'll listen. I can tolerate diverse viewpoints. And in family, friend situations where I know that there's some really big differences in worldviews, I can say, let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the things we can agree on. And that works. That works as long as two people are willing to participate. But if one is just going to say, no, I can't have you in my life because words are violence or something like that, or you're a bigot, you're a fascist, you're this or that, then there's certain people, not most, but there are those that, like this kid, who can be taken to a very dark place. And we're going to learn more about this. This didn't just happen. He didn't wake up one day. This did not just happen. There's more to this. It's not over because, yeah, he's in custody. There's going to be a trial. But I want to know, and I think a lot of people want to know, how did he get to this place? And we know, we have a general idea, but it's time for those that are inciting this kind of thing, that are polluting the brains of young people, it's time for them to be held accountable for what they're doing. Because they are imbuing, they are putting these ideas into the brains and the minds of helpless kids who are compelled to be in these classrooms and ingest this toxic ideology. And then they're told to keep it secret from their parents. In Utah. So you can think you are not safe in your red state because your kids will attend, they'll likely attend school, and there's a high chance there aren't, the vast majority of American children go to a public school at some point, and they attend a public or even private university or college, which means they are going to be exposed. And even if you are able to homeschool, go to private school, there are private schools that use the same curriculum. But let's say, like me, you do all your homework, you're really vigilant, your kid picks up one of these, and then there's stuff on there if you're not monitoring it correctly. So you always have to be vigilant and have the conversations with your kids about what's going on so that they are prepared and they can fight back, at least mentally in their head, that they can reason and, yeah, no, I don't think boys can become girls. I don't think girls can become boys. I don't think America is a fundamentally evil, racist, horrible place. That I don't think that the Constitution is outdated and should be overhauled. I understand the Constitution. I have some background knowledge, and that's our job as parents. That's what we have to do. But what's happened with Charlie shows us that we can't retreat. We actually have to be more on the offense. We have to say this propaganda leads to a bad place. No, not most kids aren't going to become shooters. They're not going to do a heinous, awful, cowardly act like this, but they can become, just by isolating, not getting married, not dating, not having children, becoming a recluse, becoming part of a cult, perhaps even removing their genitalia, identifying as non-binary, like the things that can happen still harm. They're stealing and robbing our children, and they're turning them into minions for a woke army. And that's something Charlie recognized and was fighting, and that's something that we have to continue to, in his name, stand firm against. We cannot retreat from college campuses. As a matter of fact, I've just I will speak at a college campus. I'll go to a high school. Why not? I mean, I've already spoken at school board meetings, and I may be nobody. I'm not Charlie Kirk, but someone's got to go. I think more. I know that there are a lot of people. I've heard Megyn Kelly. I've heard Ben Shapiro a lot. Dave Rubin have all said, you know what? I'm not Charlie Kirk, but I'll go. We can't let this movement die. We have to. We can't stop talking to kids on college campuses. I think we should go to talk to kids in high school too. Figure that out more. I think that there's a lot that's we're going to learn a lot more. And if I was a betting person, I'm not usually a betting person, but on this it's going to be just that he was likely involved with a radical Antifa-like group, if not Antifa itself, but some radical group that espoused hatred and violence towards the political right. And as long as it's okay to hate someone because they disagree with you, if there's permission given at some upper level, permission given, as long as transgender people that call themselves transgender, which they don't exist, but as long as they are a sacred cow that can't be touched, as long as our traditional media can get away with saying or not saying the truth, not talking about what was written on the casings of those bullets, as long as they can try to hide and cover up what's really going on, as long as they can get away with that, then it's going to be hard to advance. So they can't get away with it. They're not going to, we can't let them. And from what I see from President Trump and the administration, they are certainly going to operate with radical transparency, especially on this, because we deserve it, and Charlie Kirk and his family deserve it. The truth, justice, and real justice can only come on the other end of knowing what happened to this kid. How did he get this radicalized? Who helped him? Who encouraged him? Who indoctrinated him? And in doing so, then maybe more normies, maybe more people that, yeah, they agree with us. Yeah, they think that boys shouldn't go in a girl's bathroom. Yeah, all of that. Maybe they will wake up and realize that, okay, I can't just sit on the sidelines anymore. This is intolerable and it's dangerous. And in America, we need to be able to engage in political discourse in public without fearing for our lives. We need to be able to wear a MAGA hat and walk down the street in LA and New York. We need to be able to, and everyone should be able to express their ideas freely. If they are ideas regarding, this is the way I want to vote. This is the person I want to vote for. This is the religion that I am, that I am going to adhere to. Ideas, free speech, the ability to participate in public discourse. We shouldn't be afraid. And a lot of people are afraid. I fear, I worry that more people will be afraid. And it's really important that we overcome that fear. Very important. I'm going to, before I head out and do exactly what I advised, I am going to clean my garage, and I'm going to hang out with my sister, and I'm going to get my kids from school and do something. Like, I've been very focused on this, and I think everyone, and rightfully so, but I think later this afternoon, report what's happening, share, talk, because I think you just want to talk about this. It's affecting so much. Like, I was in the grocery store yesterday and ran into several people that are like, "Are you okay?" And just talking about what happened and wondering why, just started to cry. And watching the videos, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, young wife, 2 little kids. And he was so big in this movement. I don't think they understand just how big he was in this movement. I was in Wisconsin, a state that Turning Point focused on. Huge. We would not have won. Trump would not be president right now without the vision of Charlie Kirk. For such, my kids, my college-age daughters, that's the #1 show they watched. Whenever there was a question about climate change or abortion or any issue, they'd run to Charlie Kirk first. They'd go to his YouTube channel, they'd watch, and they'd watch, search, and literally my daughter would memorize how he debated something, and the next day she'd go to class and use it. And my daughter keeps sending me these tributes. She's like, Mom, post these tributes. It's his there's no replacing him. There's none. It's just, I've been so sad, and I'm still sad, but I'm starting to now, I want to know what happened. I want justice. But you look at this kid, and I want to know who indoctrinated him. I want to know who got into the head of this 22-year-old kid. What was he listening to? What got him to this point? Because it has to stop. You cannot poison the mind of American youth and pretend like, oh, it's love and belonging and kindness. It isn't. It's not. It's not kindness. It's not belonging. It's not love. And then to tell us that we have to be polite and respect these crazy people. No, we don't. We shouldn't. We don't need to be not violent, but we can be sure. We can say no. My kid wants to eat candy for breakfast. I don't negotiate. I don't, oh, honey, with kindness. I just say no. No, you cannot have candy for breakfast. Put the Snickers bar down. That's it. It's non-negotiable. It's not happening. That's the way we need to be. No. Sorry, no. You'll use that bathroom, and if you don't like it, that's just too bad. And no gender-neutral bathrooms either. Because you know who ends up using the gender-neutral bathrooms? Biological girls. There's one, and that's where they're told to go. There's no more gender-neutral. There's no more, well, let's find, you're a boy, you're a girl, end of discussion. If you have a problem with that, then I guess this isn't the school for you. No more. No more of this inclusion of things that are madness. That's step one, because that just sends the message, right? Like, no bueno, no, we're for real this time. We can't, it's no. And there's a way to say no. Like when there's with my mom, my dad, sometimes it was like no, and you knew it's got to be no. Here's the line, you're not going to pass it anymore. And we're just not putting up with it. And if enough parents say that with conviction and do what needs to be done, but then things will change. So as far as schools, but that's in colleges all over, this is a marathon, not a sprint, but a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Can't keep throwing up our hands and saying, no, it's too hard, too much, too big, because it's coming for you. You don't have a choice. It's that simple. Stop pretending like you do. You don't have a choice. You're going to have to fight for common sense and reality. Otherwise, it'll be your kid sitting on a bus and some guy with who's been in jail 14 times, mentally ill, drug addicted, is going to stab your kid. That's going to be your wife. Because it's going to be you. You have to do something now. You can't keep waiting. Something has to happen. this is this there's just we have to do something, and we have, without violence but with authority, working through the system that we have and using civil discourse, using our platforms, speaking out, protests, standing up, and not retreating. No retreating. And I know right after this happened, the first day, I texted, I want to quit. I'm out. It's not worth it. I've got kids I love. I've got a life that I love. I've got a good life. I don't need to be doing this. I can just try to ignore it all and live in the real world, or make up, I don't have to be here. That's what I thought. I thought, is it worth it? And of course, the next day I wake up and I watch these tributes to Charlie Kirk and all that he had to say. And I understand, yeah, like that's exactly what evil wants, for good people to do nothing, to feel helpless, to feel the chaos is too much. And so we can't do that. I can't do that. I can't succumb to evil. We also can't succumb to an extreme on the right, or extreme left, extreme right. We have to do, we do have to engage, like the Martin Luther King. That's the way. Persistent, principled engagement that doesn't stop until we win. Persistent, principled engagement that doesn't stop until we win. And that we may be building a city we'll never see, but we're building it for our children and our grandchildren. Not with violence, with love, but love. There's tough love, love for humanity, love for our family, love for our country. Just because I discipline my kids because I love them. I tell them the truth because I love them. We don't lie to people. And you can't lie to somebody and say that that's love. You can't pretend and participate in the delusion and call it love. And you cannot allow our civilization to be destroyed because we should be polite. That's stupid. And that's the enemy telling you what to do so that they can win. And I don't know why we would take advice from the people that hate us and listen to our enemy. It's ridiculous. It has to stop. I don't care about the opinion of people that hate me, hate my children, and want to end my way of life. I don't care about their opinion. I don't wish them, I don't want them to not be on this planet. I want them, I don't wish them bad things. I just don't want them to run things. And I need to do everything I can so that they're not in charge. And that's okay. It's okay. And it's okay to tell people that, sorry, but there is biological reality. And I'm sorry that you feel differently. But your feelings are yours. They're not, I don't need to validate them. There's no obligation for me to indoctrinate my children so that you can feel better about yourself. Like these are just, this is preaching to the choir here, but it's so common sense. It's hard. It's hard to even understand how one rationalizes tolerating this kind of thing. And the more that we have the more that we have tried to be kind and polite, the more emboldened this radical ideology has become. Because you think, okay, all right, I'll use the pronouns, okay? Then you're gonna leave me alone, right? No. It was Charlie Kirk. Oh, I'll find the quote because it was one of my more viral posts, and I quoted Charlie Kirk, and it's actually just occurred to me. And I want to get it right, so. Sorry, I just want to get this. Oh, just looking at. There's a photo here. I'm watching it, not like Charlie at the Madison campus. It's really hard to put this up. This was in Milwaukee at the RNC convention. And yeah, he's really tall and really nice. But what Charlie had said is basically first you're supposed to tolerate. They want you to tolerate. And then they want you to, so, okay, I'm going to engage in the tolerance. I'm going to be nice, right? Okay, I'll be tolerate. Then accept. Well, no, you can't just tolerate. You have to accept. You have to accept that this is reality. Fine, I'm just going to accept that. I'll pretend I'll say it. Then you have to participate. That's now, no, you can't just, and you can't, it's not just tolerate, it's not just accept. Now you have to participate. Now you have to engage. And then they want your kids. And then pretty soon, drag queens are dancing with toddlers. You have to participate. And that was essentially what former HHS Secretary Levine had said. Like, it's not enough just to tolerate, accept. No, you have to embrace. You have to participate. And if you're not willing to do that, it's never enough. It's never enough. They will take and take and take until there's nothing left. And so you might as well just understand you have to stand up and fight. There's no choice. That's just the fact. You have to fight, fight, fight. And for Charlie and for everything he fought for, his legacy, the legacy that we leave to our children, shame on us if we can't give just a little bit of ourselves. There's more that I want to talk about. I might have a chance to do a live stream today. I may not. I may just go outside. But I'll keep posting, and I just and yes, if you don't know, I work with Moms for Liberty. So if you're a parent and you want to get involved, we sure would love it. We sure could use you. And if you're with Turning Point, we got your back. And my friends in Wisconsin, if you need anything, I'm here, and we're going to work together a lot more. a lot more coalition work, and we need unity in the conservative movement. I'm not going to say some kumbaya stuff with, like I said, don't wish you, I want you to be healthy, threat, I want you to live, but I don't want to break bread, and I'm not going to sacrifice my values so that you can feel good. Not doing that. I've stopped doing that a long time ago, but hopefully more people will too. And it's not in an unkind way. And it's just, these are my values. This is the way I'm going to raise my kids. And if you don't like it, too bad. You can raise your kids the way you would like to, as long as you're being responsible. But I am going to raise my kids the way I want to. And public schools that are publicly funded are not your playground. Teachers unions, which are basically a money laundering scheme for the Democrat Party, expose it, get rid of it. It's part of the problem. And I think that's what's happening with the Trump administration. And you're going to go to college, do it to get a degree in something useful. Stop this crap. We should not be funding transgender studies and Marxist madness. That should not be funded by, in these universities, most of them, they are funded by us. And that is not a good use of our money. These indoctrination camps, what they're doing, no more. No more. There needs to be codes of conduct with teachers, things that they are not allowed to just sit around being political all the damn time. You want to be you want to get involved in politics, run for office. Run for office. But don't use your platform in a classroom as your personal political playground with other people's children. I don't care if it's preschool, kindergarten, or they're juniors in college. Those places are not your domain to indoctrinate kids. You're not there to create little minions. You're there to give these kids the tools that they need to be successful in their future. And there's a real problem with girls, and that's a whole thing that we as a movement have to recognize and come up with solutions, because they have really got their claws into our girls. This whole culture, and we need to do everything we can, because they, the soul of a country, the soul of humanity, women, we bring life. We're the nurturers. We're strong. We're powerful. But that power comes from our femininity too. It comes from who we are. And to rip this all out of us and then think the society is going to be okay, it's not. We've got to do something about it. We've got to raise a heck of a lot more Riley Gaines. I'm doing my part, trying my best, but it's a problem. Our kids, we've got such good kids. I am surrounded by Gen Z, really good kids. And we've got to engage. COVID, parents have been on the sidelines, and not enough of them have come to the plate, and got to change. Parental rights, parental responsibilities. That's it for me right now. I have to do an interview, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching live, and there'll be more. You can see the sun's out here in Wisconsin. It's a beautiful day. Regardless if the sun's out or not, just enjoy it. kiss your kids, hug your spouse, touch grass, live your life. And in doing so, don't sacrifice your principles. Don't do it. Say the truth out loud. And say it in a principled way. Don't have to be a jerk. Don't have to be obnoxious. Just the truth. And when you're in a conversation with someone and they say something that's not true, say, with all due respect, that's not true. I'm sorry, that's just not true. I can't let that just slide. And that's it. That's all you have to say. You hear them say something about Charlie, it's not true. Tell them that's not true. You see, I love what they're doing. You see that someone's publicly celebrating the death of a great and honorable man like Charlie. Call him out. I know who you are. And I love that these people are getting fired. Love it. There needs to be accountability. If you're going to be a vile, evil human being, your employer should know. Your community should know that you've said vile, horrible, evil, mean, cruel things. Political violence is very disturbing. We're all haunted by it, even people that never knew Charlie Kirk. To kill someone for having a different opinion than you, to assassinate them, it's shocking to a free society. And it should be. This should. And anyone that is going to say, well, he had to come, anything like that, they deserve to be called out. They deserve to face the consequences of a civilized society. We have to be a civilized society again. And we can be. Bye, everyone.